Hi, I'd like to have you come join me for a seance. The seance will include using a Ouija board, calling up a spirit, finding out the name of that spirit, and then calling up for that spirit to appear and become present there. Now I advise people not to take part. If you suffer from any sort of a mental health condition, like depression or anxiety, or easily suffer from fears and phobias, not to take part if you're nervous in any way. I recommend you don't take part if you're under 18. Now to take part, you'll need to have lots of bits of paper, 26 bits of paper, all with A to Z written on them, to go around the outside of a small table, perhaps a coffee table, a table that you and a load of your friends can sit around. You'll have to also have two more bits of paper, one with a yes on it and one with a no on it. And you'll all need a wine glass that you can upturn in the middle of the circle of letters, and the yes and the no will be in the middle of the circle as well. One of them slightly to the left and one slightly to the right. Now if you decide to take part in this, I've sat in on numerous seances and guided people through numerous seances and Ouija boards over the years. I've had many people get scared by what happens. So it's going to be down to you whether you take part or not. You and all of your friends that take part there have to take full responsibility for your actions. If you decide to take part, if you decide to hold a seance in your own home or wherever you choose to hold it, you need to take responsibility for that and accept that you do so at your own risk. That you've decided to take full responsibility for anything that happens there. That you agree that I hold no responsibility for what you've decided to do, and I'll guide you through it. So if you decide that you want to take part, decide that you want to experience a seance, that you want to see if you can call up spirit, then you need to accept that you do so of your own free will. Okay, so you've decided that you're going to experience a seance, that you're going to have a go at a seance. Now some people watching this might be skeptics, some people might be genuine believers. Either way, it doesn't matter. You can just experience what happens and then make your mind up at the end. Now, for your safety and the safety of all those others involved, it's important that you follow the instructions fully. So firstly, you need to make sure that you've got A to Z written on separate pieces of paper and placed in a circle on a table. And you need to be able to have a table that's small enough for all of those involved to be able to sit around and to be able to reach the centre of that circle. And also in the centre, just off to the left and right, you need to have a piece of paper with Y or yes written on it, and a piece of paper with a no written on it. And you need an upturned wine glass, and it has to be an upturned wine glass, so that all of you involved can place your fingers on the wine glass. You just place your two first fingers, those two fingers of both hands, those two fingers of both hands, onto the glass, touching like that. Just very lightly, touching it just with your fingertips, very lightly. But you don't need to do that just yet. Okay, make sure that this video is the only light in the room. This is best done at night, in the dark. And have this video as the only light in the room. And then what I want you to do is to all sit around that table. Get yourself comfortable. Sit around the table. And allow your eyes to close a moment. And I want you all to just hold hands around the table. All hold hands around the table so that you create a chain. And we're going to start by building up the energy level. Now, mediums go into a trance to be able to become receptive to spirits. mediums go into a trance to become receptive to spirits. And the way Ouija boards work best is when everyone is receptive and open-minded to just let the experience happen. Whether you're a skeptic or whether you're a believer, just let the experience happen. Now, to build up the energy level and to make sure that you're all in rapport with each other, to make sure that you're all in a responsive state of mind, and that the energy flowing through each one of you is the same as it is flowing through each other one of you. You can just link hands and just begin to all follow my instructions together. So just allow your eyes to close, allow yourselves to relax a moment, keeping those hands linked. Whatever you do, don't break the chain, just keep your hands linked. Whatever happens. Very often spirits begin to show their presence before you get to the even calling up who it is that's there. Now, just before you begin, make sure that you settle on who should be channeled. So one of you decide that you'll be the one that if a spirit is going to channel through you, then you'll be the one that the spirit channels through. So that the spirit will talk through your body. And will take over your body just for the period of time that the spirit is present there. So decide who it's going to be, so that if a spirit is willing to show itself and willing to communicate in that way, you'll know which one of you have given permission for that spirit to enter inside you. And talk automatically on your behalf. That's right. Now what I want you to do is, with your eyes closed, all linking hands still, just begin to breathe in a very specific way. Breathe from deep down in your stomach. And I want you all to breathe in the same rhythm. And I'll begin that rhythm. And I want you to breathe in to each count of 3, and I want you to breathe out to each count of 3. And I want you to keep up that rhythm so that all of you are breathing in the same way. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, out, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, in, 1, 2, 3, out. And just keep breathing in that way. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 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 in, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. And just keep that rhythm going in your own minds, telling yourself in, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. Or keeping that breathing going the same as the person next to you, and the same as the person next to them, so that you're all breathing in the same way. And as you do, you can begin to just get a sense of what it's like to feel the air change, feel the spirits, finding a channel to the room. Just all get a sense of creating a gateway to the spirit world through that linked chain, down through the centre of that linked chain of you. And remember, all of this is only possible as long as you keep that chain linked. The minute the chain gets broken, the gate will close and the spirits will be gone and trapped back in the spirit world. So as you keep breathing in that way, just keep that chain linked and just get a sense of that gate opening up in front of you. Just get a sense of that gate opening up in front of you, inside that chain. And remember that the gate will only close when the chain is broken and you're all no longer in rapport with each other. So in a few moments, when you use the Ouija board, you'll still all be in rapport with each other. You can still all continue to breathe in that way. You will have been breathing in that way for so long that you'll all stay in rapport. And as long as you stay in rapport, that gate will stay open even though you've undone the chain. But if any one of you breaks rapport, the gate will instantly close. So just get a sense of the whirling sort of gate opening in its own way. Opening to the spirit world as you continue to breathe in that special way. Now, some people begin to get a sense of who might be channeled through, and I don't know if it will be someone that any of you know, or if it will be someone that you don't know, you just find yourself talking to. And when you come to doing the Ouija board, in a few moments, the first question you'll ask will be whether a spirit is present. And you'll either get a yes or a no. And if you get a yes, you'll then want to know who that spirit is. And you'll then spell out the first letter then you get the second letter. After that, you get the third letter. And what you'll find is that with each letter, the glass will speed up and speed up. and find its way quicker and easier to where it's going next. So now keeping that breathing going in that way. What I want you to do is I want you to very slowly and gently release hands and slowly move your hands forwards, putting just the tips of those fingertips onto the outside of the upturned wine glass. Of the actual body of that upturned wine glass. Just resting your fingertips ever so lightly so that you know that you're not pushing it, you're not moving that wine glass to where it goes. And then I want one of you to just ask out loud, is there a spirit present? And the rest of you keep watching that wine glass. And you will keep watching that wine glass, waiting for that movement. Just watching that wine glass, watching what happens next. It may take just a moment. And you can ask again, is there a spirit present? And wait for the answer. And just keep watching that wine glass. And when it happens, there's no need to panic. Just keep your fingers on that wine glass and keep focused on that wine glass. And just notice whether it goes to the yes or the no. And keep breathing in that way, keep watching that wine glass, keep focusing on that wine glass. And notice whether it goes to the yes or the no. And then you can ask for the name. Ask for the name. You know, many people find that the spirits that appear are either spirits that died on the plot of land that the property is built on many centuries ago, or died in the building from some traumatic event. Some people find that the people have died from traumatic events and their death was kept a secret and buried. Sometimes you can just discover what that person was like, just from the speed that the glass finds their name. So what I want you to do is to have that same person ask for the name of the spirit. Ask the spirit to tell us your name. Ask the spirit to tell us your name. And just keep watching that glass. Now sometimes it'll start off slowly and jerky and gradually pick up speed. Maybe it'll take a little while to just settle on that first letter. And then it'll move over the board and around the board to find its way to settle on the second letter, the third letter. And just notice how it can speed up and speed up. And just keep focused on that wine glass. Just focus on it. Just relax. Keep that breathing going. Notice how it can speed up. As it spells out that name. As it spells out that name. And you can just keep watching it, keep breathing, just keep focused on what's going on. And just experience it. Just go with the experience. Any questions you have, any thoughts in your mind, you can think and ask later. Just go with the experience it. It can happen all by itself. You just have to watch and observe it. Now I don't know whether some of you will notice the feeling of the spirit, perhaps a cold shivery feeling down your back. Maybe the spirit will touch one of you on the hands. Maybe you'll notice how it begins to explore you. Explore the possibility of how it's going to settle inside the one of you that's going to channel it. And it could be that it touches your hair, your face, maybe it gets up close to you, right up beside you, examining each and every one of you, one at a time, to make sure that the person that is supposed to be used for the channeling is the right person. Maybe you'll notice how it begins to make the table move beneath the glass. Maybe it begins to make things vibrate and move in the room as its energy increases, as it begins to focus its energy ready for entering the person that's going to channel the spirit. Sometimes the spirits take a while to just focus their energy to be able to enter into a body. To target their energy. And sometimes that target can affect other things. Sometimes it can make ornaments move. Sometimes it can make creaks and other sounds, knocking sounds throughout the house. As the energy affects the building. And sometimes they examine each person one at a time. examining your thoughts, looking into your soul to make sure that you're an appropriate person to experience this. To make sure you're an appropriate person to experience this. So when you've got the name, just continue to breathe in that way. Continue to breathe in, counting to 3, and out, counting to 3 in your mind. And just go back to holding each other's hands. Just make that circle again. Just relax. Hold each other's hands. Making that circle. And as you continue to breathe in, counting to 3, and out, counting to 3, just notice how you can breathe in that energy of the spirit. And just continue to breathe in, counting to 3, and out, counting to 3, and that energy can flow through your body towards the one that's going to channel that spirit. It can flow through your body towards the one that's going to channel that spirit. And it'll enter into all of you with your in-breaths and flow through your bodies. A bit like the energy that the Chinese believe is called qi, that travels around the body, that you can get from the earth, you can get from the air. Well, spirits can travel on that energy. They can travel through your body. They can follow your energy system when your energy system is in line with the person next to you and the person next to them. And it can enter into all of you. And it could be like an electric shock or a shiver, just a very faint electric shock or a shiver through your body as it channels through and flows into the other person, all the way through to that person, building up in that person that's going to channel it. And now I want to talk to the person who's going to be doing the channeling. As a spirit can enter you, it can begin to take over your voice, creating a voice of its own. It can begin to take over the muscles associated with speech. And just all of you, just allow your eyes to close. Just close your eyes, keep them closed, and relax. And all of you just begin to focus on thinking about allowing that spirit to talk. Allowing that spirit to talk to the group. And the person that's going to allow the channeling, the person that's going to allow the channeling to occur, I just want you to say out loud, just say out loud, I give my body up freely. For you to come inside me and communicate to the group. And then just continue to breathe in that way. And just let that spirit settle inside you in its own way. It could be like just having a weird sort of force settling just inside of you. And you'll know when it's settled inside of you fully, because it'll acknowledge the group that it's there and that it's talking. And it will communicate with the group through you. It will start talking with your mouth. Then just relax and let it happen. And you can just find it a curious experience as it happens. And just maintain that circle. And just keep breathing in that way, and keep focusing on how that spirit is relaxing into you. Just be curious. To discover exactly how it happens, what it feels like. Now, the thing about spirits is they can't cause any harm to anyone. Spirits are passive. Furniture can move all by itself. Objects can move, fall over, rise into the air in front of you. It could be that even your chairs that you're sat on rise into the air with your sitting on them. And when that spirit is ready to talk now, others of you can ask questions of that spirit to get answers. And thank the spirit for coming and offering its presence to you. So if it hasn't already, just take a moment to allow that to develop. And the others of you can think about a few questions you might like to ask. And when that spirit talks, and acknowledges that it's there now, you can ask it questions. And then after asking it questions, you can all say thank you to the spirit for taking time to show itself to you, for taking time to show itself to you. And if the spirit feels like it's been well treated, well acknowledged and met, you can look on and notice that spirit as it leaves the channel's body and floats back up, floats away again back through that portal back into the spirit world. And it might happen with the channel feeling a bit of a gasp, or a sudden change in bodily sensation, maybe a sudden weight being lifted, or a sudden rush of lightness. And then you'll be left alone, all of you will be left alone there. And you can begin to change your breathing. Alter your breathing from one another, stop doing that breathing. And begin to think about different things as you just allow that portal to close again behind that spirit. And the person that was the channel can be left with a strange feeling of comfort. A strange knowledge, perhaps, that they didn't know, or a feeling of something that's a knowledge they don't quite know. And the better you get at getting in rapport and going through this process, the more rewarding you can find it. And you can all begin to break the circle, begin to get a sense of being back where you are, a sense of comfort, that having the spirits gone back to their world, back to their sort of spirit plane. A sense of safety and security. And you can take some time to discuss your experiences with each other.